Welcome to the Double Dribble podcast with Dubin and Dakhil on the RealGM network. That's Jared Dubin, author of the amazing newsletter Last Night in Basketball. You should be a subscriber. If you're not, you're really missing out. Make sure you're doing it. And also, Jared's a good dude, so support him. Plain and simple, folks. Make sure you support him so you continue to do great stuff. I'm Mo Dakhil, former NBA video coordinator. I write for Bleacher Report. I do videos for Offside. Check me out on X Live for games 3 and 4, 2 hours before those games. We're doing a pregame show. Alexis Morgan, Zach Harper, and myself. We're going to get you ready for everything. And finally, rate, review, subscribe. Let the people at RealGM know how much you like having us on the network. And, give us that love. That's as simple as that. Jared, how are you doing?
Mo, I'm doing great, man. It's great to be watching the finals. I'm like floating after these two games. I still got the hat on, which means that the Knicks have still not yet lost 13 in a row. It's unbelievable. What a game we had the other night. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in New York now. We're recording this on Sunday morning. I'm going to leave soon for Media Day. And you can just feel the vibe all through New York. And I'm staying near Times Square, so I imagine it's going to be a bit nuts. I already passed by, the ad campaign, Always a Knick, and I didn't even really realize one of the photos is a dude sweeping. And I'm well, it makes sense. You sweep the last two, you might sweep the finals. Who knows? But we got to talk about game 2 because I think there's a lot of things that are really interesting about that game. First, the first half, the Spurs kind of build a 12-point lead. Have some stuff going. Wemby only shoots 4 shots in the first half, which is definitely a problem. The Knicks make a run, and take the lead, right? If I remember correctly, at the end of the half.
Yeah, they were down 4, by 9 at the end of the first quarter, so they were up by 4 at halftime. Right. They had that Karl-Anthony Towns 3 at the end of the half to stretch the lead from 1 to 4 on the pass from Bridges in the corner.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff there. I want to start first with we'll get to the end because obviously that's what everybody wants to talk about. But, I want to start first with just the Knicks ball movement because everybody's breaking down the one play, which was honestly the most amazing,
unbelievable play. To have that happen against the Spurs too, because obviously the comparison that people are making throughout the playoffs just on the ball movement is the 2014 Spurs.
2014 Spurs.
And that one play, I mean, you get 4 driving kicks and 4 paint touches on one possession. It's the Brunson driving kick to a Shamet driving kick to a Bridges driving kick to a swing from Brunson to OG to the driving kick to Bridges floating into the corner. And I mean, he lets the shot go with 0.2 seconds left on the shot clock. Just, you can't do it any better than that.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most amazing offensive possession I've seen in a very long time. With just that, and that's textbook. But the thing is, though, it wasn't just that possession. They were really doing it, especially through the entire second quarter. That ball was flying all over the place. You have the Karl-Anthony Towns, which everybody's pass that Towns made, which everybody's talking about. The Jokic one where it looked like the whole defense was around him, and he finds Bridges again in the corner. You have, there's just so many different examples where it's just great ball movement. They get a paint touch. They get a kick out. They're getting the defense in rotation. It's really been phenomenal to watch this all play out. And I can't stress it enough. When you watch it, you're just sort of just damn, man, they have fully broken down the Spurs defense at this point. And it was interesting because in the first quarter, the Spurs defense was very aggressive and it looked like the Knicks struggled with it in the first quarter. But it was once they recollected themselves, they were fine. And it just got flying from there.
Yeah, they've been a step ahead of every defense for 13 games now. They're moving. And look, their offensive efficiency in this series isn't even that great. I think it's 107. But the pressure that the Spurs are putting on them to force them to get into late clock situations and the fact that they're still able to move the ball incredibly well once they get deep into the shot clock to be able to get themselves a good look at the basket, whether it's through their flex cuts or their weave series or pick and rolls and short rolls and guys doubling Brunson and swinging the ball out of that. Like, no matter what the Spurs are throwing at them, they're finding a way to get the blender going and to get the next pass to the next guy to turn a good shot into a great shot or a bad shot into a good shot. It's incredible to watch them right now. Just doing it, like, it would be one thing if they were just doing the same thing over and over again each time down the court and nobody was able to stop it. They are reacting to every defense that the opponent is throwing at them, and now to the best defense that they've seen is throwing at them, and they're figuring out the right way to attack that defense based on the coverage that's being presented to them, and it's just incredible to watch.
And the guys are all stepping up and responding too at the same time. You know, it's going to be a lot of that rhythm and flow that they're finding, and I think it's been really fun to watch. Honestly, like watching not just these two games, but this whole run has been absolutely amazing. And I think it's sort of the this is the thing that's really kind of taken them to that next level that I think we never saw Tibbs would never get to. And I think that's kind of been the big difference with bringing in Mike Brown. And then there was stuff in the second half though that I hated. Quite frankly, with some of the stuff they did, you know,
everything down the stretch while they were giving up that 14-0 run.
I mean, even in the 3 minutes, I mean, honestly, if let's just go to the second half. You know, they build a 14-point lead, and you know, slowly but surely, you know, the Spurs it wasn't even slow. All of a sudden, the Spurs go on a run, and it's hitting. Yep. You know, you got the Castle 3, you had a Wemby 3. You know, you're starting to get guys making shots and in transition. I think when you're watching it, you're just sort of like, offensively, I felt like it really got very Jalen Brunson centric.
It was very Jalen Brunson centric, and then it really wasn't, where they had multiple possessions where Brunson and Towns were just away from the ball, and it was like Bridges OG pick and roll, or just Bridges straight up isolation, like 40 feet from the rim,
which was just absurd. But like, even so, like what happened is, so I think part of it is when the Spurs or when the Knicks were killing it, it became a situation where they would run a pick and roll at Wemby, and you could see it on one of the clips. It's the Shamet wing 3. You could see it where Wemby's calling for Castle to come and to switch him out. And when that happens, Wemby drops back, everybody kicks out, but they're just too slow with that. And they're so spread out. It's too difficult. Like when they go to that, like, you know, kind of like that 5-out lineup, it's too difficult to do that. And then what happens is they don't make the rotation in time, and Shamet gets a clean 3. I think there are things that once they decided, yo, Wemby, you just got to switch that and live in that matchup, I think you began to see a lot of that kind of like slow down. And I think the ball wasn't flying as much. And part of it was Brunson going like, I'm going to take him, which is like, okay. I mean, like, look, I get it. You're riding the high of highs right now, but like, be measured. And I felt like when it did get to that, it was a bit worrisome. Yeah. The possession, especially like, I think it was like a minute 40 left. The possession with the OG Bridges pick and roll, it was literally like, what are you guys doing? Like, this was an absurd.
At first, Mikal was just standing there with the pick and not even like going in, like,
because he didn't know what to do. He wasn't sure.
Back in the day, I used to call this Tony Douglasing a pick and roll, where, and you know, shout out to the horrible Florida State guard that ruined the Knicks for a while. He didn't actually ruin the Knicks, but he was just emblematic of how bad they were, where he would take a pick and roll and just dribble to the side of it and not create an advantage with the pick. And that was what Bridges did on that possession.
Yeah,
he didn't even dribble, actually. He was just standing there. The pick got set and he didn't do anything.
Yeah, it was the most absurd sort of view of it. And I just think really like they're lucky it played out the way it did. Right. And let's just kind of recant a little bit, maybe the last minute or so. It's tied 104.
Before you get there, though, because you mentioned the 5-out lineup, I think it's really important to note that group played 9 minutes. The group with Shamet in for Hart with the Knicks starters, Brunson, Bridges, Shamet, Anunoby, and Towns. They won those 9 minutes 26-15 in a game that they won by 1 point. Absolutely massive stuff.
Huge. I mean, that's huge. So I think the end of the game stuff, though, Wemby gets it tied 104-104. Spurs call a timeout. Wemby gets a baseline jumper, which I didn't hate. I'm sorry,
the first one against Mitch.
The first one against Mitch.
Extended, yeah,
it was more along the baseline, I thought, than the elbow extended. It was part of it was 2 for 1. Let's make sure we get the second shot. Part of it was like, that is a Wemby shot. Like, that is a shot Wemby can hit. Like, it wasn't something like try to dribble, step back wild. It was like face up, look, little bit indecisive. And we'll talk about Wemby in the second segment, but like the sort of like indecisiveness a little bit. And then, he finally just said, all right, I'm settling in. I thought it was a good look. Not the best. And I know everybody's screaming, like, get to the paint, big man. As if that's been easy, right? Like, if it was just so easy, then he'd do it, right? He would just – it's not like Mitch is a shitty defender who can't move, right? So, like, there's part of that too. So, then the other possession for the Knicks, Brunson gets a switch. I mean, first, before that switch, the Spurs took used their foul to give. And shout out Nate Duncan, because he's right on this. It's the dumbest thing when you just give away the foul to give. I do think it kind of helped them in this situation, because the foul on Wemby then put Brunson on the line, which gave them a chance to win the game in regulation instead of the Knicks having the last shot. But I agree that it's really stupid. Well, no, so I disagree with you. I'd rather the Knicks offense, the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter was trash. Like, sorry, it was. And I would rather have a chance with the ball at the end of the game than not have a chance with the ball. Of course. Like, it ended up helping them, but it was in the moment, it was a bad decision, I thought. But like, I would just say also, though, like in that run too, though, like, I trust my defense if I'm the Spurs with the run that you're on in that instance. Obviously, the foul is the foul, but like, I still think it didn't help them, because it put them on the line and put them behind, and then they had to go try to find a bucket. But anyways, the next possession after that foul, Wemby versus Brunson, decent look by Brunson, good defense from Wemby, miss. The most important thing was the Spurs got the rebound, because the hardest thing with the switch when it's Wemby versus Brunson is that leaves Cat battling with guard, and that's a massive problem, right? Like, he's killing them in the offensive rebound game. Like, he's been awesome just in general, but like when they switch, he gets that offensive rebound usually against the Spurs guards and wings. Wemby gets the rebound because the miss, and then it's just total disaster for Wemby. Throws an outlet pass. Castle's not looking. Hindsight, you're like, maybe Mitch Johnson should have called a timeout. He's thinking transition. We might get something quick and easy. You're looking at Castle going like, you should be looking back. Castle's thinking Wemby's bringing the ball up the court. It's just all wrong. And then it leads to the Brunson foul. Brunson being heady enough to go get it, and then draws the foul, goes to the line, goes 1 of 2 from the line, which is something like pretty big. They almost got the rebound, by the way. Yeah. The Knicks almost got the offensive. And I want to go back. I've watched it a couple of times, but I want to zoom in a little bit. I am curious if Luke Kornet's foot's on the line for a split second when he touches the ball. Just a thought. Well, the 2-minute report came out and said there were no errors. So okay. Well, if you want to believe them, Jared, you want to believe the NBA with that. But anyways, like, and then they have a chance. Fox Wemby pick and roll. I thought the Knicks defended it well. I thought Wemby got a clean look. Again, I have no problems with the shot he took. I don't know how you feel, but like, what was your thought with just kind of that run right there? So I got a few things. I thought, number one, I thought that the looks that Wemby got were okay. Like, I think you could get better looks than that. But him taking a semi-contested 18 to 20-foot jumper, I'm not sure how much better you're going to do than that. But I was reading Zach Cram's piece at ESPN
where he noted that Wemby has only shot 33% on contested 18 to 23 foot jumpers during his career. So you get 33% looks. Not ideal. Like, granted, if you take the percentages, there's only like a 1 in 3 chance that he misses both. And he just happened to come through and miss both. So I thought that the second look was a better one than the first look, where they had more time and like you want to go 2 for 1, but you don't have to go 2 for 1. Like you can get a better look than that one. Because I thought that Mitch got a better contest on the first one than he did on the second one, where Wemby had to put it up no matter what. I thought that Bridges and Mitch did a really good job of defending that pick and roll to be able to shut that. Like Fox might have been able to take that shot, but it seemed like they just wanted to get it to Wemby.
I've really rewatched that. I don't think he had a chance to get that shot. This isn't, I mean, against Bridges, like Bridges fighting over the top of the screen. And it's like, I think Bridges eats that. If he takes even, because I thought for a while, take one more dribble and I bet you have a chance. When I watch it again, if he takes one more dribble, Bridges is going to be in front of it, because that dribble he took before he makes the pass, Bridges is almost shoulder to shoulder with him at that point. That's just my viewpoint of it. So I kind of don't really like, I think he made the pass when if he doesn't, I don't think he gets that pass off or even gets a shot off at that point.
I thought that the Brunson shot over Wemby was kind of a bad shot. Like you want Brunson taking the shot in that situation, but I thought that he pulled up like almost too quickly to the point where he wasn't on balance when he took it. I understand not calling a timeout in that situation because the Knicks have their offensive lineup on the floor with Brunson and then Towns with 5 fouls out there. And we saw obviously what happened on the next possession when they were able to get, I think it was McBride and Mitch on the court. So I understand not taking the timeout there, but obviously did not work out well for them in the end. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, the guy made a bad play. Sometimes you make a bad play. You know, it happens. Like, it just happened to happen in like the biggest spot possible.
Yeah, I think, this is kind of the thing with first. I disagree with you and Zach Cram on the second shot. That's the best shot I think you get at the end of games. Like, I don't think you get a lot of opportunities to really knock that, to get a clean 18-footer. I know the numbers, all that stuff and things like that. That was a great shot to me. I don't think it was okay. I think that was a good shot to great even. And it's just, it's the look you have to take right there in that sense.
Oh, I mean, you absolutely have to. There's 2 seconds left. You have to take it no matter what.
I mean, so it's like, I don't know if they haven't been able to run anything to get Wemby a look at the rim for the most part.
Yeah.
Right. So like, that's why for me, like, that's the shot. That's what you're living with.
Yeah. I got no problem with the second one. The first one, I thought that he could have worked for a better shot once it didn't come wide open right away.
Yeah. But I think also some of that came from, I bet you they put it in their head 2 for 1 during the timeout.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that's more instead of saying like, we just want a good shot, don't worry, 2 for 1. Let's get a good shot. So there's that. My view of the Wemby turnover, you can see the playoff scar developing in that moment, right? Like, especially the camera shot of him afterwards, you can kind of just see being there. And you know what? That's good for him. And I think
it will be eventually.
Yeah, I mean, not now, obviously, right? Yeah, that was definitely a dumb way to phrase it for me. But in the long run, like, you've gone through this whole playoffs and you haven't really developed a playoff scar. What they've done has been absolutely amazing. But that's one where it's like, okay, we need to, like, that's one that you develop, that you hold on to for a while. And he's holding on to now. Like, I'm very curious to see what he says at media day. Post-game press conference, he was just like, yeah, I threw it away. Like, I threw it away and stuff like that. I do want to yell at people for a split second. I'm seeing it from social media. I'm seeing it from semi-respected people in the sports world, like Wemby falling afterwards, and that's a flop, and da-da-da. Shut the fuck up. That is the dumbest thing you can fucking say. I saw that and I almost responded, I don't want to get into arguments. He wasn't flopping to try to draw a foul. Like, of all the things Wemby does, I don't think I think he just fell. I don't think it was anything else other than that. I don't think he wasn't looking at the ref going for, well, I need a foul call or anything like that. So if you're going to equate, and I saw it, somebody had put it out there saying like, oh, if it was SGA, we'd be going nuts. Well, no, SGA looks at the ref afterwards and starts saying I was fouled. Wemby's looking for nuns at that point for prayer. Like, it's not like I didn't feel like it was him flopping. So I just thought that was stupid from the media response to it. Also, it's along the lines of the media response about like he celebrated too much. So now we're blaming him celebrating Game 7 too much to this. And he's even owned it that he did. He said it after Game 1.
Right. He said that they might not have come down enough from the celebration. Yeah.
Which is fine. They're a young fucking team. Right. Yeah. Like, so there's a lot of that to it. But I think there was a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, the Knicks take a 2-0 lead, which I never would have guessed. Would have never guessed. And I want to tell you this too, because I was there in the crowd. Way more Knicks fans in Game 2 than Game 1. Game 1, it was about, they were loud as hell, but it was about 15%, I'd say. Okay. Game 2, that was at least 40 to 45% Knicks fans.
Damn.
It was impressive. I was kind of I was like, God damn, man, they really did travel for Game 2. So it was a lot of fun in that sense. It was a great game. Really a great game for the finals. You get a shot at the buzzer, whether it goes in or not. Like, really, really some fun stuff. Just absolutely amazing. And man, credit the Knicks. They're in this position now, Jared, to sweep.
Oh God, I'm not even going to think about that yet. But I do think there's a bunch more stuff we got to go over from game. Like, this is going to shock you. I don't have any thoughts on Wemby falling down. Like, don't care.
I know that was my own side note and my own little yelling at people thing.
Yeah, I do think there are a couple more things to go through. The lineup at the end of the third and beginning of the fourth quarter, with Towns in foul trouble, Brunson off the court, OG off the court, Hart off the court in foul trouble. Alvarado, McBride, Shamet, Bridges, and Mitch. They win those minutes 11-6 in about 5.5 minutes and stretch the lead from 4 to 9. Absolutely massive. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I don't like this lineup out there.
What are we
and
doing?
They still stretch the lead. Mike Brown just pushing absolutely every right button. During that stretch, Bridges was absolutely massive. Hits 2 fadeaway jumpers, or 3 fadeaway jumpers, I think, if I'm remembering correctly now, out of part of the 8 shots that he made in a row during the middle of the game. He went from 0 for 1 to 8 for 9. Has a huge lob to Mitchell Robinson also. Deuce gets the run started with a little fadeaway over, I can't remember if it was Vassell or Champagny or who, but
I don't remember. But,
yeah, I don't remember either, but that was a huge stretch in the game. Just Bridges in general, both in Game 2 and even in Game 1, the defense has been phenomenal. The Knicks defense in general through the first 2 games of the series. I got my mug right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see.
Knicks mug. Can't really see it.
It's the Knicks logo, but it says no easy buckets.
I got you. Okay. Nice.
That is why the Knicks are winning the series right now.
Yeah.
The Spurs have a 101 offensive rating through the first 2 games. The Knicks are rotating out of control right now, doing absolutely everything they can to prevent easy baskets. They're getting these high tags on Wemby when they go to the pick and roll, especially when they go to that 45 pick and roll.
Yeah.
Brunson is just hitting him as he gets to the 3-point line, well before he gets to the foul line, well before the tag guy has to come in from the corner. I feel like the Spurs are kind of hurting themselves with that action, actually, and I would rather
save that. I want to save that for the next segment because I have thoughts there.
Yeah. But, I mean, the way the Knicks are defending right now, from Karl-Anthony Towns, who we'll talk about later, to Mitchell Robinson with the 2 contests on Wemby, to Bridges, to OG Anunoby, has been absolutely incredible. Josh Hart in Game 1 was awesome and has done a pretty good job on Stephon Castle. Like, he was not good in Game 2, but generally has done a really good job on Stephon Castle. I mean, the only thing they're not doing well is defending Dylan Harper. Everybody else, they're doing a really good job on. And in the first half of Game 1, they kept leaving Julian Champagny with aggressive help. Since then, absolutely fantastic defense all over the court, and that's why they're winning right now.
I would say, to the Dylan Harper point, like they have not figured that dude out. And give that kid credit, man. As a rookie coming in and just completely like it seems like the one Spur unfazed by the finals right now. And I think that's kind of the most impressive stuff. That dunk he had in the first quarter, where he kind of like cocked it around Towns. Even Wemby's reaction was kind of similar to what you just made, just shaking his head like, God damn, like what the hell, kind of stuff. Like that kid's going to be special. Like at the end of the day,
he already is special. He is.
No, he's going to be more special. What I'm saying is he's going to be even more special is than what we're seeing now. Is in a sense, you're right. He is special, but he's going to be even more. Like there's more coming to his game in that stuff, especially if he can get his shot more consistent and really kind of become a 3-level guy. It's going to be whatever. I was going to start speaking in basketball internet patois and don't want to do that. Yeah, I think all the stuff you touched on, that lineup they were huge. Another guy that was huge was Shamet. And it's just like it's the thing about Shamet that's most amazing is I didn't think he had this level of defense in him.
Yep.
Right. And just the one example best of all is, he met Castle at the rim. Like that's when I was just like, holy, I mean, like I've been impressed with Shamet this whole run with his hustle and extra efforts and things like that, things that we didn't see from him before. Like that's also a credit to Mike Brown and Shamet, obviously, for doing all the work. But like Mike Brown kind of like drilling that in of like, this is the role. This is the stuff you have to do to play on the floor for us. And he's killing it in his role with that. I was trying to save some of the stuff you were saying for the next segment because I want to talk about Spurs adjustments there. With that, is there anything else you want to empty the clip on with the Knicks and or Spurs in Game 2 besides
just one more stat from the defense, where this is from Zach Krem also. Game 2 was the Spurs' lowest shot quality in any game of the entire season, according to the now Genius IQ, not Second Spectrum tracking data. So like Game 1, you can say they missed a bunch of shots. Game 2, they shot 38% from 3, and it was their lowest shot quality of the entire season. Like that is just phenomenal defense from the Knicks.
Yeah, give them a ton of credit. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk adjustments for Game 3, mainly Spurs specific, and then we'll go from there. And we are back, folks. Time to talk adjustments. Spurs down 0-2. It's fascinating. So, like, part of it, one of the first things I said to, I'm with Zach and Alexis while we're watching the game afterwards. I said, it is going to be a long few days for Wemby to live with that turnover, the missed opportunities, the missed shots, the missed lob. Like for me, this is going to be, I mean, I already said it. It's going to be his playoff scar, right? We're going to talk about that's his playoff scar. But I think the other thing too is like he has looked too not frazzled, almost over anxious with everything, right? Like trying to hit the home runs, plays. There was one possession where the ball got kind of bobbled to him. It looked like he had a small on him on a switch. It was Mikal
Bridges. The 3 in the corner.
Yeah, Bridges pokes it away. No, Bridges pokes it away, but then it allowed them to put Robinson back on him. And then he just goes to a step back 3, and I did not like. I was like, that's a bad
air
shot.
ball too.
Yeah, missed it wildly, but it was like there's a little bit of like a frenetic energy from him that I'm not. It's not so much panic as much as he's putting too much pressure on himself on each play, and with each passing play, it's more pressure to him, and it's more like it feels like it, and it's kind of interesting watching it because I think that's something that he's struggling with in this series so far, beyond just Cat kicking his ass. It's him putting a little bit more emphasis on things, and I think he really kind of needs to. I don't know if I expressed it as well as I would have liked to.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. And I thought that for game one and the first half of game two, I agree. For 23 minutes of the second half, he was fantastic. Everything you wanted to see from him. And then it was the final minute where I think that three you were talking about came with like a minute and a half left or maybe something like that. And then obviously the two missed jumpers and the turnover. But he also gets the stop on Brunson in there on the switch. So there was at least one good play in there. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree for the most part, but it did seem like he had solved it for much of the second half. And then at the end of the game, it just came back.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing, right? Like once he missed the step back three, it leads to, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of coming, like to me, it's just something overall sort of feel. And then seeing him kind of talk about it in the press conferences, you know, he had said, you know, those last 2 minutes were blurry to him. And he even said that's a problem, right? Like there's a focus issue. I think that's kind of not focus as in he's unfocused, almost like he's too amped up in a weird way. The other thing for the Spurs, and this is kind of not a small thing, missed free throws come back to haunt you, man. 19 to 27. Wemby missed 3. You had Castle misses 2. Harper missed 1. You know, Johnson misses 1. Cornette misses 1. Like, you got to make your free throws. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's something I've noticed with the Spurs young guys. They tend to miss some of these a little bit. But it's like that one hurt for sure on their end. And then I want to just overall, I agree with you what you said last segment. They got to get the Knicks have dialed in on 45, right? Like that double high. It's been, they have it dialed in now. Now you need to change up some stuff. And like, I don't want to see that. They've actually done a good job. I haven't seen it too much, but when it's been ran, the Knicks have done a good job defending the pin down. We haven't seen a lot of it, but like they've done a good job with it. It's similar to what you're saying with 45. It allows them to get another hit on Wemby with somebody else before they pick him back up. So I think it's interesting. They need to kind of tweak a few things.
Yeah, I think also with the pin down stuff, there just haven't been a ton of Robinson minutes, which is where we thought we were going to see that more. Like he played 14 minutes in game 2 and how many minutes in game 1? He played 13 minutes in game 1. So it's not like there's been, and we thought that was going to be the situation where they would run it more often because he's obviously not quite as used to defending guys coming off of off-ball screens as even someone like Towns is, who has defended 4s at times during his career and has seen that kind of thing more often. And then just the defense from Towns in general has just been too good for that to really work more often. What I want to see is more, I think, like empty side pick and rolls where if you want to bring over help, it's got to come from the opposite side of the court. I think that would help because, like you said, the 45 stuff, they're too locked in against it. It's allowing the Knicks to bring help on Wemby's rolls too easily and from too high on the court without having to suck in from the corners, especially since the first half of game 1 when they were getting good stuff out of it. So I want to see more of that. But the biggest thing I want to see, honestly, from the Spurs is just they need to hunt Brunson way more aggressively than they've been doing. Like way more aggressively. It's got to be almost every trip down the floor, Fox or Harper, I think, are the two guys that really need to be hunting him because Castle, I don't know if he has the I'm going hunting game just yet. He had one really nice like hesitation dribble Euro step finish around Brunson in game 2, which was awesome. But I don't know how equipped he is to do it yet. I love him, but that's not his game just yet. Fox and Harper have to go right at him, draw him into space, get him moving his feet, wear him down because they're wearing him down on the other end with their defense. Just keep putting him through the grinder as many trips down the floor as you can.
So to me, that's where I think instead of 45, they need to switch it to a double drag with Wemby being the first screener and whoever Brunson is guarding being the second screener. They got a lob dunk for Wemby off of that late in the game in that because it allows Wemby to roll because the second guy can't tag Wemby and you're too spread out with shooters in the opposite corners. So it's hard to get that weak side pull with where you're going. And then if it's Fox or Harper coming off, Brunson has to show while those guys are, Bridges or whoever, OG, Hart, whoever's guarding those guys, have to fight over the top. So that puts you in a situation where the roll is possibly there for Wemby off of that, or you get a switch and you have Brunson having to guard those guys. Because Fox started going. Fox had a good game too. He rebounded from a pretty rough game one. 2 of 2 in the fourth quarter, 8 of 12 from the field for 20 points, 5 assists. The turnovers are a problem. 4 turnovers is great. Not great. You want to have a better 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. But I think you need to have more of those, because there's one thing was clear in that comeback, and you said it. Brunson could not guard Fox, and they just needed to go at him over and over again. I feel at times in the series, and they've gotten we're looking for Wemby too much. And I know that seems funny because it's Wemby needs to touch the ball. And Wemby having only 4 shots in the half is not acceptable. And all of that is correct. But I feel like when it's being forced, it needs to find it more in a natural rhythm of that. And I think that's where the double drag comes in. Another play, which I don't see them run often, and I don't think I've ever really seen them run it with Wemby. They might have, and I've missed it. I want to see more Spain or Stack with Wemby in there. Mix that up. Run a little inverted screens as well and have Wemby as the ball handler. I want to see a little bit more of that. They need to tweak stuff. 45 was great against Oklahoma City. You're not playing them anymore. And the Knicks have it dialed in now. You need to change it now. So I think that needs to be something they go to, more small pick and rolls. I'm with you on Castle. I'm going to just say this now. We really kind of saw it a lot in the OKC series too. He cannot be your primary creator on every possession. He's not there yet. I don't know if he ever will be. I think Castle is at his best when he gets to attack the second side. When it's Fox or Harper kind of creating an advantage, and then get the defense to rotate, you kick it to Castle, and then I just want him to go. And I want him to be more focused on just going. Go attack. Be decisive, because I feel like when he's indecisive, that's where the jump pass turnovers come. We love it when it's completed, but it's a turnover also waiting to happen. That's something that he needs to kind of find more flow with. I think for me, if I'm the Spurs, my only 2 main primary ball handlers are Fox and Harper.
I like the idea of Castle as a second side guy too. I think when you have perimeter guys who are more strength than speed based, and Castle does have really good speed, but primarily he is a strength guy. Mm-hmm. I feel like those guys are just better attacking from the second side than they are breaking down at the point of attack or at the top of the key. Jimmy Butler is kind of like that. And I know people have been searching for the right comparison for Castle throughout the playoffs. I don't know if that's a perfect one, but I think from a strength standpoint and the way he attacks and uses his shoulders and tries to get leverage that way, I think it's one that makes sense. I really like the idea of of all 3 of the double drag, because like you said, Brunson has to come out and you can't necessarily tag on the roll quite as high. I do wonder if the Knicks would just go under on that and let Bridges or OG meet the ball handler on the opposite side, because they're not necessarily going to be scared of Fox or Harper pulling up from 3.
It's harder on a double drag to go under.
It's really hard.
It's just so much space. And if you go under too much or you go too far, you're giving real estate to 2 very high quality guards that will take advantage of it.
But if there are 2 guys you're going to trust to be able to do it, I feel like Bridges and OG are the 2 guys that you're going to trust to be able to do it. So I like the idea. I just wonder if the Knicks might have some sort of count, and maybe they just don't have Brunson hedge out hard. Maybe they have him drop. Maybe they have him switch. And if you switch, you can still load up and help. like the way that they've been doing when they get that situation, especially if it's going to be late in the clock, then you can do that and sort of trust him on an island one-on-one and sort of force those guys to take jumpers. I really like the idea of the Spain pick and rolls, especially with Wemby as the second guy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or sorry, as the first guy, where you can get him a back screen, because how many lobs have we seen for Wemby in this series? Not very many.
Completed, I think, just 2.
Yeah,
I know one at the end of game 2, but and he missed one in game 2 also, but that was just him missing it. But yeah, not a lot of like half court lobs thrown up there for him.
No, and then what was the third one you said? Because I liked that idea too. I can't remember what it was, but I remember liking it.
I have no idea.
Double drags, Spain pick and roll. Oh, and the Wemby pick and rolls as the ball handler.
Yeah.
And I like that where you can use Champagny as the screener, Brunson's man, and force them to think about switching it or hedging out high and getting a pop for Champagny for 3. Or you stash Champagny in the corner and force Brunson to be the low man, and you try to get something going that way. Granted, I don't know how much you're getting with like Keldon Johnson or Champagny or whoever rolling to the rim and forcing Brunson to help there.
Yeah, I think it's more just the let's just give them a different look, right? Yeah. Like, let's just give them a different viewpoint. Like, Cat's been awesome defensively, and it's been very hard to get Wemby the ball. Cool, have him bring the ball. Like, just, you know what I mean? And run an inverted pick and roll and see how they respond to it. It's even just because like that will shake them up a little bit and shake something loose, and it might open up other avenues elsewhere that we're not even thinking of.
Yeah, it could. I mean, I don't know how much I want him bringing the ball up the court, but get it to him early. Like, because, you know, one of the things we talked about earlier in the season was how's it going to look when he scales up his minutes in the playoffs? He's been up to 40 minutes in game 2. And how many was it in game 1? It
had to be close
38.
To 40. Okay.
38 in game 1, 40 in game 2. He played 42 in game 7, 38 in game 5 against San Antonio. Like, he does look a little tired out there. Some of that is, you know, you got to play these games with only 1 day of rest in between. But a guy that size is probably not supposed to play 40 minutes a night, and putting more on his plate, like bringing the ball up the court and trying to navigate things that way. I don't know how much I want to do that.
Yeah, and I think I was being a little facetious with him bringing the ball up the court. More just like you said, get it to him early at the top and let him try to go from there. Listen, you want to win a championship, this is the shit you have to deal with.
Yep.
That's the way it goes. Like, sorry. Like, I don't, you know, you went in a 7-game series that was exhausting, was, you know, difficult. I think they need to kind of figure that stuff, you know, like that's in the past now. You just got to go all out. And he even said a quote at one point and said, like, we'll sleep in July, or like we'll rest in July, which is basically the truth. So he's going all out. I think the other thing for me with Mitch Johnson, you got to stop with the Carter Bryant minutes. You got to stop with the Harrison Barnes minutes. Like, it's just not – this isn't the series for them with that. Cornette, they were decent at least this time around. I know he was a -7 on the floor, but like, I don't think
the same thing as game 1, where they won the first shift of Cornette minutes and then they got killed in the other shifts of Cornette minutes.
So I think it's just like, but they need to spell Wemby for a few minutes. You just gotta hope it's not as bad. I think the other thing I'm more kind of concerned about with them is just defensively. Like, I think they just need a switch, and if Wemby ends up on Brunson, they end up on Brunson. But that does hurt you on the offensive glass, and that has to be if we do that, we have to have – everybody has to crash for the rebounds. Everybody has to kind of dive in and get those gang rebound situations, because it's like – but how many he had how many offensive rebounds? I'm looking it up now. Just 3, but it felt like, 6. They were big ones. They were big possessions.
He had one over Wemby to start the second half. I think he had 2 in the fourth quarter, if I'm remembering correctly.
But it's like these are like that, and then it's the offensive rebounds where, like, they had 2 offensive rebounds on one possession, led to a huge 3. I think it was Bridges hitting the end of it. But like that's the area they have to kind of lock down in, right? Like, offensive rebounds, they can't. When I look at it defensively, I mean, the Knicks had 89 shots to their 78. It's tough to win those games, man. Like, you're not. Especially with the Knicks defense is as good as it is. Like, you're really kind of struggling at that point. And I think it's going to be really important that they lock those down.
Definitely. And it's not just Towns. Like, one of the reasons that they can't go small with the second unit and play like Bryant at center or something like that is because you have Mitchell Robinson out there.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Like, you have to have Cornette or Wemby out there. Otherwise, you're getting absolutely hammered on the offensive glass. And then, like, Hart on the offensive glass in game one, Bridges and OG getting on the – everybody's getting on the offensive glass. In game one, Brunson had the tip out to Bridges, who they credited Bridges with the offensive rebound, but Brunson had the tip, and then Brunson hits the three to put them ahead. Like, everybody is contributing on the offensive glass, and they're getting threes out of it, which is the biggest thing.
Which is, like, well, yeah, that's, the defense is
that's what they do. Like, the Knicks get threes off of offensive rebounds. Like, they are the best team in the league at doing that, and they've gotten it multiple times in the first two games.
So I think for me, though, I think those are kind of the changes I would try to make or implement adjustment-wise if I'm the Spurs for the most part. They're right there in both of these games. At the end of the day, like, you're also right in, like, you're not that far. They're not getting their asses kicked in the way where we looked at the Cavs going, absolutely not, no chance, no way the Cavs are winning a game. Like, I kind of find it interesting that it's like they're closer than it feels. It does feel like they're out of it, but they're actually like right there in that mix. Anything else you want to add before we go to our next segment?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk Karl-Anthony Towns. And we are back, folks. Listen, I think Jalen Brunson's going to win Finals MVP if they win. We're only 2 games away. I know, Jared, you hate this part of the conversation. To me, through 2 games, the Finals MVP is Karl-Anthony Towns.
No question.
I don't even think it's close, right? And it's not even shooting numbers or anything like that. He has dominated Wemby on both ends of the floor. And I kind of want to take this segment, not so much to just talk about that, but to just talk about Towns' career kind of the whole way through. Because, like, this is a dude that has gotten, like, so much shit over the years that it's kind of, like, fascinating to see this come out. And it's not just this series. We've talked about it. This has been the most impressive defensive run I've seen from Cat in his entire career. Right. And it's been phenomenal, but, like, it's so much kind of fun to watch him go from being a dude that, Jimmy Butler shits on. Draymond Green has shitted on him, and even this season, right? Like, he's ducking me and things like that. And all those types of things. Everybody, Embiid has gone at him. All the stuff, like, wasn't there a big deal, like, when he was, like, playing Call of Duty a lot? Or am I mixing up players and I'm a boomer? There was a video game thing, I thought.
There's stuff I don't pay attention to, and that's stuff I don't pay attention to.
Right, but, like, it just sort of became a thing where it was like, we're just going to shit on Towns. And he's corny. And don't get me wrong, he is corny at times and stuff like that. But, like, it is so fun to watch him right now play basketball. Like, I get so much joy watching him hoop right now.
Yeah, and there's also a whole vein of criticism of Towns that is extremely misogynistic and homophobic because of the way he talks.
Yeah,
which
lot
is
of that.
Patently ridiculous, and just there's no place for it anywhere. And there's a lot of that goes around the internet, which, granted, we shouldn't pay attention to, but, like, Gilbert Arenas was talking about that last year, and that's, like, someone with a pretty significant following around the league. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff Towns has gotten throughout his career has not just been that kind of stuff. It's also been based on his game. And I think a lot of it has been because so many people wanted to see what we're seeing now out of him, because he has always had the talent. Like, I would tell this to people all the time. Towns has the talent to be the best center in the league. He does.
Yeah.
Like, he is, if he's not the best shooting big man of all time, he's damn close to it. He's a very good passer. He is a phenomenal rebounder. He has a low post game that not many guys can match these days. He can do everything on the basketball court. You've seen the drives throughout this postseason. And that's, like, his best play of the game to me in game 2 was a play that didn't result in anything, It was a missed shot in the corner from, I think it was from OG Anunoby. Towns gets the ball as a trailer on like a semi-transition fast break. Brunson gives it to him as the trailer. He is barreling down the lane. Like it looks like he's going to be out of control. And there are two different guys in position to draw a charge. 1,000 times out of 100 earlier in his career, he crashes into one of those guys for a charge, like 1,000 times out of 100. And he just very calmly, 2 steps before either of those guys has a chance to draw the charge, kicks it to, I think it was OG in the corner. It might have been Shavin in the corner. Kicks it to whoever that is in the corner. They miss the 3, but the Knicks get the offensive rebound, kick it out to McBride, and that 3 to put them up by 12 points. That is the kind of thing that exemplifies the growth we've seen from him throughout this season. He's not just passing on the drive; he's passing at the right time on the drive. And he had, I mentioned this earlier in the playoffs when they switched their offense in Game 4, and he had 3 assists on the drive in that game against Atlanta. He had the 4th lowest pass rate on drives during the regular season. That pass rate has skyrocketed during the playoffs, and especially over these last 13 games. And he is just making the right play every single time. And this is what everybody has always wanted to see from him, and it is spectacular to see.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of it all is kind of like even this season there was stuff where it was like him and Mike Brown not getting along. The deadline is, do we trade Cat for Giannis? Like there was a whole lot of this type of stuff.
Did you see the Mike Brown quotes about him and Towns and his relationship? Just phenomenal stuff, talking about how they have to adjust to each other, but because Towns is such a great player, Brown has to be the one to adjust more. Like the way he talked about the way that those guys' relationship has developed, that is everything that you want to see from a coach and everything you want to see in your relationship between a coach and a star player. If you haven't seen the video yet, you got to go find it. It's terrific.
Yeah, and it's really an interesting sort of comment because it's like there was definite whispers that these two are not getting along. And it was true. And you know, for them to kind of find and figure out, as Mike Brown says, adjust to one another and him adjusting more, like is pretty impressive that that's kind of the way they sort of found all this. And for him to just have this glow up in the whole playoffs, not just the finals. The finals is like Wemby is the final boss, right? Like type of situation. And for him to just honestly, he has Wemby in his own head. Like Wemby there's a lot of stuff in that, which is something where I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see coming at all. No, I thought Karl-Anthony Towns could play good defense against him. I thought he could do. I did not see him being this to the point where it's like I don't want anybody else on him.
Yeah, most people didn't think he was going to be the primary matchup on Wemby. Right. Like most people thought it was going to be OG, who is a phenomenal, obviously the best defender on the team, one of the best defenders. He makes second team all defense. You could argue he could have been first team all defense. One of the best defenders in the league, probably the wing best suited in the entire league to defend Wemby, and they just haven't needed to do it because Towns has been that good. And this was, we talked about it at the end of the season when I put him on All NBA. I can't remember if you had him on or one of your last guys off, but this was the best defensive season of his career even before the playoffs, and the playoffs has just been an entirely different level.
Yeah, so like this is the stuff I'm kind of like when I'm watching him, I'm blown away. And by the way, it couldn't happen to a nicer dude. Every story I hear about him is just great. I saw a video the other day of some fan seeing him in the street, a little kid, and running and wanting to take a photo with him or something. The kid was wearing a Cat jersey. Like there's just all that stuff. And then when you talk about everything he went through during COVID and the pandemic, losing his mom, he lost like, wasn't it like a ridiculous number of family members? Like
I can't remember the exact story, but it was his mom and I think multiple other family members. If I'm remembering correctly. I could be misremembering, but I know that there was like a significant hit to his family and then obviously his mom.
Yeah. And then he even, you know, in the post game kind of mentioning like, you know, she's watching down, like just, I love all of it, man. Like it's so much fun. There are times he's frustrated me. I'm sure I'm part of the problem with some of the criticism of Cat. If you go back to stuff I've said, you know,
we've all been part of that. Everybody in the media has been part of that problem. Even those of us who have always been high on the talent. Like part of the reason that the criticism came was because it just always seemed like there was 5, 10, 15% more that you could have gotten out of him. And we're getting 100% of everything that you can get out of him.
Yeah. And I think it's just kind of, it's just so much fun to watch it for me. Like these two games like have been phenomenal, but it's like it's been fun to watch Cat. And even like afterwards, like I forget what play it was, but like, he got a blows by Wemby along the baseline, gets a dunk with Wemby trailing behind him. I don't know if this is when he said it, but he's like, you can't fuck with me. He can't fuck with me. Like, it's like, this is like a level, like I'm so happy we got to see it. Like seeing a guy kind of hit this level at the highest stage. And again, he's been doing this for most of the season, but even taking it up another several notches. Like, man, it's just so much fun. I don't have much more to say. I just wanted to give a little bit of love to Cat there for the past two games.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the past two; it's the past 13 games at this
Yeah,
point. You
really.
know, like ever since they made the switch to the offense in Game 4 against Atlanta, and obviously that hasn't been the exact offense that they've been running the entire time. They've had, stretches or games here and there where they've run mostly different stuff because of the way defenses have been responding to them, but he is answering the call in every possible manner on both ends of the court, just doing exactly what needs to be done, exactly what the Knicks are asking him to do at all times. And you can't play any better than he's playing right now. You just can't. And I agree with you. Like, again, I don't want to, get ahead of myself, but through two games, he's the MVP of the finals. He has been the best player on the court in the finals in a series where the guy who most people at this point are considering the best player in the world has been on the court, and his direct matchup on both ends of the court.
Yeah. There's no question to it. I think that's a good place to end. Thank you so much, folks, for hanging out with us and listening to the Double Dribble podcast.
See y'all.